Ashes by J.C. Jarrett. Epilogue. The Return. His eyes opened, revealing the night sky above. He stood and stretched, releasing the kinks from his body. He had never felt so good. He felt amazing, like he could lift one of the large boulders nearby. His vision was also clearer than it had ever been. He had even heard the scurry of a nearby rat as it dug for slugs and worms. He looked down at his hands to find their normally stark white skin to be a light gray. Then he heard the voice for the first time. "We are Mordenvex. We are Mordenvex," the voice repeated several times in his head. Suddenly he felt words beginning to form on his lips. We are Mord. He fought against the voice in his head. The voice told him over and over, "We are Mordenvex. We are Mordenvex. We are Morden. I am Jander," he screamed into the night. Jander stood tall. He felt the presence of Mordenvex get pushed way down in his mind, where he could no longer hear the Lich's voice. Jander looked about the ground, seeing the splatters of blood where he had landed from his fall. "How am I alive?" he thought aloud, even looking up to see the hanging portion of the monastery above. A voice came from the back of his mind, though this time there was power behind it. It was now more of a partnership. "You are now one of us." And the outcome path was swayed. He knew the words rang true. Laying near was the now tattered robe that once held the soul of the Lich. But he knew now the soul was part of him. There were things he now knew that he never did before. Spells scrolled through his thoughts. He felt powerful. Thoughts of what he could do with these newfound abilities began to form. He began to chuckle to himself as the whispers of the Lich echoed in his head. "This world could be yours to rule. Just use the power of the crown. You could have an army. You can be the Knight of Death. Oh, I know what I need first. And just where to get it," the Death Knight said to himself. The new undead raised a hand, slashing through the air, tearing a rip in midair. Bending, he picked up the black robe and hooked it to the back of his armor, forming a cape. Then he stepped boldly into the rip, vanishing from sight. Instantly he stepped from another rip into a darkened forest edge, near a small, marked grave. The Death Knight neared the grave. His tendrils of thought, instead of snaking out, seemed to launch from his powerful mind. The redhead sat on the ground. Her green eyes looked out across the field of tall grass. Before her was a shimmering image of a young redhead girl with the same green eyes looking out of the tall stalks of corn. The green eyes look out in horror as she was forced to watch the brave young man, Peyton, take a beating from Grover. Suddenly the image vanished, breaking Elisa from relieving her past. Purple tentacles of energy shot from tears in the air and ensnared the surprised Elisa. She fought with all her might, but was unable to free herself from the magical grasp. She felt the sensation of being stretched to infinity, in a void of swirling multicolor lights, then just pain and rage as she looked out from her burnt skeletal corpse. The ground began to churn as the blackened hand reached from the earth. Jander watched on in amusement as the blackened body of bones slowly revealed themselves. After a few moments, the blacked, burnt corpse stood up from the ground. The body cracked, with blacked, burnt flesh falling away from what was left of her. He smiled at her as she stood silent and unmoving. A sudden idea sparked his evil mind. Drawing the flaming blade he had recovered from where he had fallen, he handed it to the newly made undead Elisa. The flame of the blade rolled up her burnt arms, then encased the entire corpse in a sheath of fire. As the flame flowed up from her legs, it left behind fresh gray flesh. The fire climbed its way to Elisa's restored head, then stopped, leaving long, flowing mane of fire. The newly regenerated undead Elisa looked at her new master, Jander, her eyes shining with an inner fire. In an icy tone, she spoke. "What is thy bidding?" Janna sat upright in bed, the vision of the flaming-haired woman still fresh in her mind. She panted out of breath like she had run a mile. The room was cast in a dim blue light as her magical longsword set on its point, floating in midair. "Mother?" she whispered to the darkness. to be concluded in Engulfed, Book 3 of the Westlake Trilogy.
I want to thank you for listening to my tale. It took many years to get to this point. If it wasn't for my friends and family pushing me on, I don't know if this book would have made it. This time the story was more about Rand and Jana, and like the last time, I want to thank them for letting